All right, Slacky. All right, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start off with giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. I want to say and give double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders, the great millstone, for teaching us his word in truth and sincerity and for ruling well. And salutations to the elect, Lord willing, we're some of those men and women that believe and fear the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Slacky. Excuse me. Hey, I'm my brother Gabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii, coming to you with another lesson. And this lesson was inspired by a video that I watched earlier today. Elder Apostle Gabar, he did a live show earlier today, and it inspired me to want to do this lesson. The name of that video that Elder Apostle Gabar did earlier was called bear with me. Yeah, it's called Daily Live Stream 2/16/26. What is Partus Sequitur Ventrum, right? Which we'll touch on that in this lesson a bit too. But matter of fact, I'll show you the video so you can watch it on your own time. This is the video that Apostle Bar did earlier today, and it was a good lesson. You know, I like I told him, I wish I could have joined him, but hey, I'm doing it right now. You know, I'm doing my part right now, and adding to putting my spiritual 2 cents into the cup. Today's lesson is entitled Esau put his own in slavery without care. I meant to say without. Let me I gotta change the title. Without care. Right? And that's exactly what he did without a care. And that's exactly what he did. He put his children in captivity right along with the rest of the Israelites that were in captivity, particularly we're talking about the transatlantic slave trade, which involved the enslavement of the children of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, man, because our people suffered this, right? And as we suffered these things, the I'm gonna have to re-edit it. I'm gonna have to re-edit it when I'm done, the title. But it's supposed to be entitled Esau put his own in slavery without a care. And he didn't have a care. And as we suffered these things, a lot happened. A lot of tears were sown amongst our people, right? To the point where you got you got Edomites that look like Israelites, right? And I had opened it up with this image right here. This is Prince Albert of Monaco, right? And his so-called illegitimate son right here, Alexandre, right? And this guy's an Edomite. He's not an Israelite. This is this man's seed. He got his ears and everything too, man. He got this is Satan right here, right? This is Satan's seed right here. This is Satan right here, and this is his seed right here. But you would think that this dude was a Israelite because he looks like an Israelite. You know, he's a model, a homosexual. You can tell you got the homosexual spirit on him. But he's a model and shit. But his mother is a so-called black woman from Tongolese. She was a flight attendant, and which we'll get into the history of Prince Albert and his son that can never this guy can never get the throne of his father, right? I don't even think his father's king, but he can't inherit his father's rights, right? His titles, none of that shit. He can't inherit it. They say that when he died that he's supposed to be taken care of, but the point of the matter is this is an example of that. And this guy's a tear, right? Because like I said, you put this dude amongst Jake, the first thing they'll put, oh, that's a black man. No, this not. This is an Edomite, right? He comes from this man, but his mother right here is a nigger woman, right? She was a flight attendant, and this dude is married. Like he got kids. Like these is other kids. All four of these children are Edomites. Now the crazy thing about it is these three right here, they get to inherit. They get to inherit Prince Albert Grimaldi's rights. So she's a princess. This devil right here, she's a princess, and this little nigga's a prince. This is Prince Albert's son, Alexandre Grimaldi, makes rare appearance at Monaco Grand Prix, right? So he gets accepted into certain things, but he can never inherit his father's inheritance, man. And that's how it was in America, right? That's how it is in America. The slavery in America, it worked the same way, right? It worked the same way. These devils, they would they would have sex with or rape, have sex, have relations, because it wasn't always rape, right? But they would have sexual relationships with Israelite women that were in captivity, bear children with these women, and then they would put their children into captivity. And so you get a bunch of these different people. Elder Apostle Gabar mentioned Bill Clinton's son, right? This guy right here named Danny Williams. Clinton don't acknowledge this guy, right? But he had sex. Bill Clinton had sex with his mother. His mom was a prostitute, right? And then this dude, he has children. These three right here, right? These are the ones that I know about, right? These three right here, these are all Edomites. These are not Israelites. And I was speaking to Elder Yashawamba, and I just made a educated discernment, which you got a lot of Edomites dwelling amongst Jake in the ghetto, right? A lot of these niggas, these people that you think are so-called black people, Latino people, Native American people, a lot of them go back to Esau. They just chocolate covered, brown covered. A lot of them go back to Esau, and that's another reason why you got that enmity going crazy in the ghetto. It ain't just the curses, it ain't just the exploitation of our oppression that the Edomites and other nations do. This man dropped seed and he didn't care about him. Just like this dude right here, what's his name? Danny Williams. His father, his blood relative is Bill Clinton, who's an Edomite. This is his mom right here. And the nigga looked just like Bill Clinton when he was a kid. He got the overbite. He got that face. He got the same face shape, right? He barely even looked like his mother. Right? Now, why would she just continue to lie for years trying to get paid? Nah. She was trying to explain something, but this nigga Bill Clinton, he won't let him nowhere near the White House or his history, right? He exalt the ugly one that he had with what's that bitch? Hillary Clinton. This demon, this pedophile and this pederasty right here. She's a pederast, this demon. These are both his children, but he only claimed one. Just like Albert of Monaco, Prince Albert of Monaco. He only claimed the white kids and the nigga kids they put in captivity. Oh, this nigga did a sit down, right? Danny Williams on his mom telling him that his alleged father, Bill Clinton, has a bald eagle tattoo on his butt cheek. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. That's crazy. So the nigga did an interview. This dude, but he's an Edomite. He ain't one of our people. And then you got Israelites that look like the other nations, but they go back to us. Our forefathers dropped seed in their foremothers in the ancient world, or in the Middle Ages, or even in this current world. So it's a lot of this shit going on. This is why you got the parable of the wheat and the tares. And this dude was forced to live in the ghetto his whole life. This guy, Danny Williams, he can go to the White House parties. He ain't go to the Bohemian Grove. He's not inheriting any wealth. Nigga got in trouble with the law, all kinds of shit. He got an Edomite with waves and shit. If this nigga is truly Bill Clinton's son, which I believe he is, this nigga's a tear. And the mistress, Hillary Clinton, she ain't accept him. They didn't even accept this nigga for a sacrifice. As much kids they be killing and destroying, they won't even they ain't want to do that to this nigga, man. They just want to act like he just don't exist. And that's the way they do. And then this dude end up breeding children with other Israelite women. And then what he do? He end up bringing them, expanding that line into the rest of our people, and to the point where it get to a couple generations, you don't even you can't even tell a difference, man. And then you want these demons to grow up, you thinking that they're gonna grow up to be nigga bitches, right? and they might have that kind of same flavor, but then they be, you know, they're running some problems with some real Israelite women, and then you see that conflict just stir up. She, like this one right here, she looked just like this nigga, even with the glasses on. She looked like Satan, and this one too. All these niggas, all three of these niggas, man, looks like Satan. So most people, they'll assume that, oh, these are Jake. Nah, buddy. Nah, bro, these are Edomites, man. Just like what we're gonna read about this guy. His name is Wes Ford. I mentioned him to Apostle Gabar in his video, and this guy is supposedly either George Washington's son or his brother's son, and he looked just like this nigga, man. You see it, look at your dollar bill and look at George Washington. He looked just like Wes Ford, man. And he had to go to slavery. So let's read this real quick. It says, and then I'll get a precept. It says this right here. Wes Ford was a caretaker and a manager at Mount Vernon, which had been the home of George Washington. Ford also founded Gum Springs, Virginia, near Mount Vernon. Ford was born in the Bushfield Plantation, Bushfield Plantation in Westmoreland County, the son of a woman named Venus, who was classified as a mulatto in the parlance of time. Venus was held in bondage as a house slave by Washington's brother, which Venus could have been an Edomite too. Her father could have been an Edomite, but they ain't free that bitch. They put her in slavery. And then she had sex with another Edomite, and then the nigga came out brown skin. So anyway, let's keep on reading. Held in bondage as a house slave by Washington's brother, John Augustine Washington, and by John's wife, Hannah. The Ford's family oral story states that Wes Ford's father was President Washington, and some historians who have addressed this matter believe the theory is possible, though not probable. In 1802, Ford moved to Mount Vernon, where President Washington had died in 1799. Ford became a free man about 1805. In 1833, he established the settlement of Gum Springs, which was the first African-American settlement in Fairfax, Virginia. He continued to work nearby Mount Vernon until 1860 and returned to Mount Vernon when Mount Vernon Ladies Association brought him to the estate to care for him during his final illness and death while the American Civil War was raging. Yeah, so this nigga right here is either George Washington's brother, son, or his son, right? Or his son. And then and it is some of his ilk right here, man. Some of his ilk right here, right? And that's why the scriptures speak about the wheat and the tare, right? Let's read about it. If Edomite come back looking like Jake, that's judgment from Yahweh. Well, it could be. Yeah, anything is judgment from the Lord. Whether what you call bad or good is still righteous. So you're a two-time loser, right? Now you're an Edomite, but you can't get the benefits of an average Edomite, of looking like an average Edomite. Now you look like a Jake, so now you catch double the hardship, and you still gonna go into captivity when slavery comes for you Edomites, when Yahweh Shai come back. So yeah, a double dose. You're a two-time loser, right? So you're done. You know what I mean? Like Elder Apostle Gabar said, the two-time loser, right? This is St. Matthew chapter 13, verse 24. It's for the tares among the wheat. And this is the parable that Yahweh Shai spoke. It says, another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. And that's what Esau does. That's why you got the term called where is it at? That's why you had this term called partus sequitur ventrum, right? Basically, partus sequitur ventrum, the child follows the condition of the mother, right? If the mother was in captivity, don't matter if she was a mulatto or a Jake, they was going into captivity. Now you had some stories, there's plenty of stories where certain men were freed at a certain age. I believe Prince Hall might have been a tare. Let me see. The guy that started the Prince Hall Masonry. Prince Hall, this guy right here, right? They make the nigga dark every time they get a chance. But it says Prince Hall was an American abolitionist and leader in the free black community in Boston. He founded Prince Hall Freemasonry and lobbied for education rights, blah, 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 blah. Hall was born between 1735 and 1738. His place of birth and parents are also unclear. Hall mentioned in his writing that in New England was his homeland, the Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Massachusetts, and preceding 1906, relying on a letter from Reverend Jeremy Belknap. Let me see. His Hall's early years unclear. Historians theorize that at age 11, Hall was enslaved to a Boston tanner, William Hall, and by 1770 was a free, literate man. Had always been accounted as a free man, although William Hall, it was through William Hall that Prince learned about the process and dressed leather. So yeah, he might not have been, but it's a lot of them motherfuckers, man. Yeah, I ain't even got to go there. This ain't about Prince Hall. I thought he was. My bad. So let's keep on reading. Where was I at? Right here. St. Matthew chapter 13. And another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat. The wheat are the Israelites, starting with the elect of Israel. And the tares are the other nations, right? That are amongst our people, that look like our people, and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then have it tares? He said unto them, an enemy have done this. And who's the enemy? Esau, Edom, right? He's the enemy of Yahweh Shem Shah and of us. He's our top enemy, right? These other nations are our enemies too. The servant said unto him, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. And that's why, we don't go out there and tell you, hey, man, just start chopping down people, because you don't know who you're chopping down. And that's not something that we're supposed to do anyway. That's the word of the Lord. We're supposed to be conveyors of the message, right, of the good news to the Israelites, starting with the elect, right? But you don't know who is who. That's why you got like some Israelite groups. You'll see somebody that look like a white person get all humbled in front of them, kiss their boots, get on their knees, say they sorry. A real Edomite ain't going to do that. He got too much pride on him. He born with too much pride to do that. You never know. You think that's an Edomite the whole time it's a Jake. You got a lot of these Israelite groups out here that don't discern things spiritually. So they assume you are what you look like. So they judging on an outward appearance. But Yahweh Shem Shai judges on an inward man, right? He knows the spirits that's in them bodies, right? Even if you can't discern them, right? So it says, but he said, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. It says, let both grow together until the harvest. And in time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather together first the tares and bind them in bundles and burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Now, for understanding about the tares explained, then Yahweh Shai sent the multitude away. This verse 36. Then Yahweh Shai sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. He answered and said unto them, he that soweth good seed is the son of man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom. Who are the children of the kingdom? The Israelites, starting with the elect. But the tares are the children of the wicked one. And that's a great example of this guy. This little nigga is a tare, right? This dude right here, he's a child of the wicked one. His father is a Satanist. This dude is an Edomite. I mean, through and through. Just like what this nigga had, Danny Williams. His daddy is a real Edomite through and through. He got his nose, he got his eyebrows, he got that look, he got that overbite. He looked just like this nigga, except he's like a so-called Negro version, bro. And he don't know. He going into captivity. He gonna die on the inside, come right back into captivity. So like people think that when this thing goes down, you're just gonna see, especially in the beginning, when the elite are captured by the elect, when the elite are captured, you're just gonna think it's just gonna be a bunch of Edomite looking people there. But you got Edomites scattered all on this earth that ain't in America. And guess what? They're gonna be rounded up. So that shit gonna look like it's gonna look like America at first. But you're like, what? That guy, he looks. I thought he was a Negro. Whole time he was an Edomite. Or I thought she was a Latino. Whole time she was an Edomite. Or I thought, oh, she was a Native American. Whole time she was a Moabite. She didn't even belong to our people, because our people our men. We dealt with the women of other nations, but that don't mean our children had to deal with our nation. So what ended up happening? They deal with other people. Or in Danny's case, he grew up in the ghetto. He had to live in a hood. He was relegated to the ghetto, right? He looked just like this man, right? He was relegated to the ghetto, and then what? He had to have children with the women of his station. So, but those are still Edomites, just like Herod. Herod looked like one of us. Herod was that nigga, Herod the Great, right? You'd have thought this nigga was one of us the whole time. Nigga was an Edomite, because his father was an Edomite. Because you are what your father is. And like Elder Apostle Bar was going into his video, that's how things went. It went through a patrilineal line. It wasn't about the matrilineal line. But Esau, he turned things upside down. So going back, it says, the field is the world, the good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. It says the enemy that sowed them is the devil, and the harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. And as therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who have ears to hear, let them hear. Because guess what? You got even amongst our nation, right? Every Israelite is not part of the elect, and if so they're gonna die here if they're not part of the elect. They look like us. We look the same, right? We come from the same lineage, but spiritually, we're different. You're given into your iniquities and sins in this world, so you're going to be burnt the fuck up because you do iniquity. And going back to the tares, the natural tares, you Edomites and other nations, because it ain't just Esau that's amongst us, right? You definitely gonna be burnt the fuck up and thrown into captivity. If this nigga's still alive, he's gonna be thrown into captivity. Because he don't live in America. This guy don't live in America, right? He lives somewhere with his wig hat wearing mother. You know what I'm saying? He lives somewhere with her bald headed ass. This nigga right here, Alexandre Grimaldi. She thought she had leveled up when she got with the prince. She thought she leveled up. I think this is nigga and his sister. I think this is nigga and his sister, but he don't get this nigga's gay, bro. He's a homosexual. Well, he's an Edomite. What can you expect, right? He don't get the reward that the natural Edomite gets, man. And the black woman, she thought she was gonna get elevated the whole time. She was just a jump off, right? She was just a jump off. And he eventually accepted his son because he had to, right? Monaco's royal lineage, Prince Albert II, and his modern monarchy, right? Which we're gonna read about him in a second. But give me a second. I gotta do something real quick. Oh shit. So this dude, again, he wasn't accepted until over time. Let's see who his wife is. Prince Albert's wife. Meet the fresh face of Monaco as Alexandre Grimaldi celebrates his birthday. What happened? Blah, blah, blah. Right? So let's read this real quick. This is Prince Albert II, this guy right here. Albert II, Albert Alexandre Louis Pierre Grimaldi, is a Prince of Monaco, reigning since 2005. Born at the Prince's Palace of Monaco, Albert is the second child and only son of Prince Rainer III and Princess Grace, which his mom's is Grace Kelly. That's crazy. Look at mom's Grace Kelly. He attended Les Albert's premiere, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read that. I want to read about his son. Right here. Succession issues. As Rainer III's health declined, Albert's lack of legitimate children became a matter of public and political concern owing to a legal and international consequence. Had Prince Albert succeeded his father and died without a lawful heirs, it would have triggered Article 3 of the 1918 Franco-Monaco Treaty, according to which principalities of Monaco would become a protectorate of the French Republic. And Monaco's constitution stipulated that only the last reigning prince, direct and legitimate descendants, could inherit the crown. Right? It says, let's keep on reading. In 2002, Monaco promulgated Prince Law of 1249, which provides that if a reigning prince dies without surviving legitimate issues, the throne passes to his legitimate siblings and their legitimate descendants. Because according to Esau, if you ain't got an Edomite mother and an Edomite father, then you're illegitimate. Both sexes, according to the principle of male preferring. Under the current conditions, neither Jasmine or Alexandre are in the line of succession, right? Which that's his son and daughter. It says to Montague's throne. It says, as they are not Prince Albert II's legitimate children, and he emphasized their ineligibility to inherit the throne in statements confirming his paternity. Montague's law stipulates that any non-adultery is generally defined as extramarital sex that is or was considered objectionable on social, religious, and moral grounds. So that any non-adulterine illegitimate child is legitimized by the eventual marriage of his or her parents, thereupon obtaining the rights to which the child would have been entitled to be born in a lawful marriage. Thus, Alexandre would have become Monaco's heir apparent under current law if Albert were to marry Alexander's mother. In 2005 exchange with American reporter Larry King, Albert stated that this would not happen. Yeah, he ain't married no jump off. And he damn sure ain't married no black bitch. Prior to the birth of Princess Gabriella and Prince Jacques, Prince Albert's elder sister, Caroline, Princess of Hanover, was heir presumptive according to Grimaldi house law. It says, so the nigga can't even paternity claims. He got all kinds of shit going on out here. This dude was just sowing seed, man. Yeah, he was just sowing seed. Tamara Jean Rotalo, Prince Albert was reportedly listed as the father of Jasmine Grace Grimaldi on her birth certificate registered in Riverside, California, the United States. The case went to trial in 1993 and was eventually dismissed by Superior Court. Judge Graham Anderson Cribbs, who refused jurisdiction and found that there was insufficient connection between Prince Harold Albert and the state of California to justify hearing the suit. Yeah, he did that on purpose. Justifying the statement of Prince's lawyers in 2006 after a DNA test confirmed the child's patronage, Albert admitted via a statement from his lawyer that he is Jasmine's father. You see? So the nigga don't even like to he don't even, and like Elder Apostle Gabar said, hey, this nigga's a deadbeat, bro. But see, we're the face of deadbeat fathers, right? The so-called Negro, so-called Latino, so-called, Native American man, because we ain't got shit in this society, right? It's hard for us to make it. And then this nigga, he get to sow seed all in the fucking earth. This bitch is an American actress and a singer, Jasmine Grace Grimaldi. Whole time she's a fucking what you call that shit? She's basically a single. Her mom was a single mother, right? Right. Her mom was a single mother the whole time because the nigga ain't wanna fess up. He got a habit of doing that. He did the same thing with Alexandre, right? Nicholas Coste, former Air France flight attendant from Nicole Coste in May 2005. A former Air France flight attendant from Togo claimed that her youngest son, born Eric Alexandre Stéphane Toscoupe on the 24th of August 2003 in Paris, France, whom she called Alexandre Coste, was Prince Albert's child, and stated that his paternage had been proven by DNA tests requested by the Monegasque government. She further declared that the prince had signed a notarized certificate confirming paternity, of which she had not received a copy. 10-page article. Costa included photographs of Albert holding and feeding the child. Costa also told the publication that she was living in the prince's Paris apartment. See, these hoes, they want fame too. They want glory too. So they know what they're doing when they fucking with this guy and receiving an allowance from him while pretending to be his girlfriend of one of his friends in order to maintain discretion. She also stated that the prince had previously last seen the boy in February 2005. The prince's lawyers, Thierry Lacoste, announced that as a result of the international publicity over these revelations, Prince Albert was suing the Daily Mail in 2005. A few days before he was enthroned on the 12th of July, the prince officially confirmed via his lawyer. He always confirmed via his lawyer, bro. Lacoste, that Alexandre was his biological son. He calls himself Alexandre Grimaldi. So that's not even his nigga's name. He calls himself Grimaldi. Man, this nigga got mad kids, bruh. B. Felder, in a suit filed in January 1989, a German model and former adult film actress, claimed her son Daniel was the prince's child. In 1986, Trist. A judge reportedly dismissed the suit despite the fact that Prince Albert had submitted a DNA sample to be tested, as a genetic sample had not been rendered in front of the witness. Felder rejected the DNA bloods, and this Esau, bro, truly belonging to the. In 2020, a Brazilian woman filed a paternity suit against Albert, claiming that he had fathered a child with her during his relationship with Catherine. Albert's lawyer described the claim as a hoax. So this nigga he's all over the place, bro. This guy, he can't keep his dick in his pants. He just spread his seed all over the earth, and nobody says nothing. Nobody says shit. You don't call him a deadbeat. You call this nigga a prince. Oh, he's a prince. He's a real prince. Right? That's why the scripture says this. The book of Ecclesiastes 14 and 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. And Esau is evil to himself. He put his own kids in slavery. He dismisses children as illegitimate, which that's all that illegitimate bullshit that comes from the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church was telling Jake in the Middle Ages what seed was legitimate and what wasn't, because Jake was fucking women all up and down Europe, man, laying much pipe and having children. Look at King Charles I, King Charles II. King Charles I, King Charles II. Right? Look at what's my man named King James. King James II. All his sons were just dropping seed, man. But they were calling, some of these guys were called illegitimate, but they still were nobles. They still had nobility. Like this guy, he got some type of nobility. This is nigga's seed, man. Right? This nigga's a deadbeat father, man. And the only time he mentions that these children belong to him is if publicity comes out. If people make a noise, then he got to go through his lawyer, and then his lawyer say, yeah, that's his kid. But none of them kids get to sit on that throne, because supposedly he wasn't married to their mother. You see? So this nigga's a deadbeat. The real, like I was telling Elder Yashawamba, man, it's like, excuse me. Edomites are expert deceivers, and they're expert projectionists, meaning they project who they are on other people. Right? Esau is really a liar, a demon, a thief, a murderer, an adulterer. He's all these things rolled in one. He's the wicked man. He's the man of sin. He's the murderer. He's the liar. He's the deadbeat. Right? He's the one get on the system and exploit it. He really does that. But they'll push that off on our people and say, hey, this is how y'all are. He's really the violent man in the earth. Right? This dude just be dropping seed. And that happened. You know, the women of our nation, they get with Esau thinking they coming up, and the whole time they getting played. Because he's not going to make you a queen. He's not going to make you a princess. You're not getting in there. There was a one princess, she married a Jake. He can't even get no, he don't get nothing. He don't get shit. Well, I ain't going to talk about it because it's not on the topic, but, you know, they didn't want him in there because they don't want him spreading that seed amongst the people, right? And she thought it was all good. So the nigga wouldn't admit that this was his son. So what she do? She start doing interviews and shit, taking pictures with a bad wig on, you know, making her hair blonde, trying to be as close to white as she can, right? Trying to be close as white as she can because she don't want to go back to that African village, right? Thinking she the white woman. That ain't your hair, bitch, right? And this is an Edomite, but she's proud to raise an Edomite, right? She's proud to raise the devil, right? But he ain't proud to raise him. Niggas show up, play with the kid and shit, like off of that movie. What was it called? I think it was like something Daddy with the Wayans brothers. The nigga said, I'm here to pick up Junior. He picked him up and said, I'll be back in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So all these kids had to come to the table after the fact, man. You know what I'm saying? And his woman got accepted because he's a prince. The prince, look, she living a life, man. All because she let the right dude drop seed in her. She get to live this high life, man. Right? She get to live this life of luxury. This is an Edomite. This is not an Israelite. He is not one of us. Right? His ass is going into captivity. Right? That ass is going into slavery, hardcore style, bro. We're gonna beat the brown out you, man. Homosexual. This nigga's a demon. He ain't got to worry about this nigga dropping no seed because he like ride, man. This nigga like ride, man. He like penises. Look. This how back in the day. And this how the black women in Africa, especially Africa, they be happy as shit to be with this nigga, man. She's happy as shit. Got his arm all around the nigga and shit. Losing his mind. Bald-headed as shit. He was lying to the bitch. I'm gonna marry you. We're gonna have a family together. Nah, bitch. You ain't gonna have no fucking family together. Nah, bitch. You know what I'm saying? No, it didn't work that way. Because this is how Esau get down. This is his real family right here. This is his real family. Just like the Clintons. Man. Just like the Clintons, man. They only recognize the Edomite side. These are legitimate children. My kids are legitimate. Right here, this little nigga right here, this little demon right here. Satan's seed. But he's Satan's seed too. Nigga Satan's seed too. So let me go back. Yeah, man. This shit, you can't make this shit up, bro. And I got another example. This guy right here, which he could be a Jake, who knows, you know, but for conversation's sake, this guy, Ben Mahler, he's a so-called Jew. And these are his sons right here. Right? They own popular real estate in Florida, throughout Florida, and probably the rest of the country, but I know Florida for a fact. And this guy right here, Ben Mahler, he has businesses with his sons. So this right here, this is his black son. He called him his black son right here. But this is his seed right here. This is his brother. Right? He's a tear. This nigga's a tear. Right? Fucking tears. And there's a lot of them running around here, bro. Weird, man. Weird. So I'm gonna get some of this off of the ChatGPT and then we'll wrap it up. So I asked the question on ChatGPT. If slavery was oppression, if slavery was oppression because of free labor and racism, why did slave masters and mistresses put the child that were had with slave women into slavery as well? So basically, they were also sending their progeny into a hellish condition. What advantage was in doing that? And it says this is actually a very perceptive question, and historians have spent a lot of time analyzing the exact contradictions. At first glance, it does seem irrational. If a slaveholder fathers a child why condemn his own biological offspring to slavery? But within the legal, economic, and social system of slavery, the logic, while morally horrific, becomes clear. The legal rule, partus sequitur ventrum, in the American slave system, a key doctrine governs status. Partus sequitur ventrum, the child follows the condition of the mother. This rule, adopted in the 1600s, meant if the mother was enslaved, the child was legally enslaved. The father's identity did not matter. This was a major departure from English common law, where the status usually followed the father, because you are what your father is. Why was this rule created? Because it protected slaveholders' economic interests. Without it, children of enslaved women and free men could claim freedom, enslavers would lose property. With it, every birth to an enslaved woman increased the enslaver's wealth. So this nigga increased his own wealth on his own progeny. Enslaved people were legally property. Under slavery, human beings were treated, not humans, Israelites, not human beings, because no other nation went through what we went through, right? Israelites, it says under slavery, Israelites were treated as chattel property, not family members. So when a slaveholder fathered a child with an enslaved woman, the child was not legally viewed as his son/daughter. Therefore, you a deadbeat, nigga. You're the worst kind. The child was legally an asset belonging to the estate. In that system, biological paternity did not override property law. Economic incentives were powerful. Enslaved children represented financial value, more labor, more resale value, more collateral for loans, more inherited wealth. Freeing one's mixed race children meant reducing one's own property holdings. That's why the scripture says, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good to? Who? In many slave societies, wealth and status were directly tied to the number of enslaved people owned. Preserving the racial caste system. Slavery was not just labor exploitation, it was a racial hierarchy system. If slaveholders widely acknowledged and freed their mixed race children, the line between slave and free would blur. Claims to rights, inheritance, legitimacy could arise. The ideology of racial superiority would weaken. Enslaving those children helped preserve the rigid social order. Social and inheritance complications. Recognizing enslaved children as legitimate heirs could create enormous problems. Property disputes, challenges from white family members, threats to estate distribution, scandal, damaging social standings. And that's what happened with Prince Albert. Many enslavers chose denial rather than that's some deadbeat shit. You're gonna deny the kid, destabilizing their legal and social position. Harsh reality: slavery dehumanized everyone involved. The system encouraged enslavers to separate biology from responsibility, right? Fatherhood from humanity, sexual exploitation from kinship. Some fathers did quietly free and support children, but many did not, because the institution itself normalized cruelty and ownership over Israelites or human beings and humans in bonds, man. So yeah, man, this nigga, this is a devil, Satan, right? He added evil to himself. To whom will he be good, man? Nobody. He ain't gonna be good to nobody, right? So yeah, man, hey, Esau put his own in slavery without a care. What you think he gonna do for you? We're Israelites. He know he hate us, man. You know what I'm saying? If he don't give a fuck about his people, he ain't gonna give a fuck about you, right? It's over for you, man. Right? Yeah. Focus on the kingdom to come. Job 14:4, 144. Barakatah, how about Shalom Shai? Says, who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. So if the father's unclean, he's unclean. Right? Nothing can change that. Nothing can change that. He's still a devil. He's just a brown-colored, coffee-colored devil, man. But he's still Satan. And that ass is going into slavery, man. And you ain't going to be able to fool the angels, man. You ain't going to be able to fool the elect, which are also angels in the flesh. We're going to know where everybody's at, who is who, and what is what. And everybody's getting separated. It's going to be highly segregated. See, in our kingdom, bro, we're going to have children with concubines too. Esau had children with our women. We're going to have children with the finest women of the nations, man, including Edomite women. But guess what? Them Israelites, them children that come from that relationship, those relationships, sexual relationships, guess what's going to happen? Them sons and them daughters going to be elevated. So them kids that they mothers is concubines, guess what? They still going to be kings and princesses, man. That's how it's going to work. You see, because we're going to do things the right way. Right? We ain't going to enslave our own people. We ain't going to cast our people in a fucking, first of all, they're Israelites, bro. What? We can't do that to our own people, man. That's our seed. So that seed, they're coming with us. And our wives going to take care of them kids like they came out of their own vagina, from their own womb. Because they Israelites. The concubines ain't going to get shit. She's just going to get knocked down some more. Or cast it out, or thrown into the fucking pits. Who knows? I'm speaking as a man, but I do know for a fact that them children that we have with the other nations, they're gonna be elevated because they're Israelites. And you don't destroy your own people. So that show you that we're a different breed than the Edomites. See, Edomites don't care about their nation. They don't care about their people. They destroy them. But we care about our people because we really are the Lord's people. We belong to Yahweh Shemal Shai. Any seed that come from us is the Israelite. You are what your father is. You see? So all them kids we have, and we won't have tons of kids, bro. We're going to have billions of sons, bro. Billions of daughters, bro. And they all going to be Israelites, man. It don't matter if we lay with an Israelite woman. It don't matter if we lay with a heathen woman, a concubine. Them kids that come out of that transaction, that physical transaction, is Israelites nonetheless, man. And they're going to all know Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So we're going to be numerous, man. And none of our kids are going to have to worry about being called illegitimate or worry about none of our sons and daughters none of our sons going to have to worry about not inheriting his father's throne, bro. Because you're going to get a throne. He's going to get his own throne. And none of our daughters going to have to worry about being treated like, oh, you a halfie. Like none of their brothers and sisters going to make fun of them talking about, oh, your mom's a concubine. Never. That's my brother. That's my sister. And they're going to protect each other. Right? They're Israelites, nonetheless. And that right is only for the kings to deal with the other nations. The women of the other nations is only going to be a right for the Israelites, man. Ain't going to be no right for them other nations. Other nations ain't going to be able to do that. Only we going to be able to do that, man. And it's good to be the king. And with that, we say shalom on to the next. Hey, shalom. Shalom.